Thank you for joining me today for Sunday Conversations. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All month, our guests will be cancer survivors. Let's get informed through my guest experiences. Sit back, enjoy, and delight yourself with these conversations.
Every day in the United States, over 1,600 people die from cancer. This year alone, 1.8 million people will hear you have cancer for the first time. And today, almost 17 million people have been diagnosed with cancer at one point or another in their lifetime. Since the advent of modern medicine, the search for a cure has dominated research and development. We spend over $150 billion a year on cancer treatments in the United States, which is more than double the average American salary. Some 260 nonprofit organizations in the United States have dedicated themselves to cancer, more than the number established for heart disease, AIDS, Alzheimer's, and stroke combined. The person that we're going to be talking about in this video, from 1891 to 1936, had a higher success rate treating most cancers than we do today.
So what's up, everybody? Hey, I am Minister Isaac. Hey, today that we will continue our conversation talking about breast cancer. Is breast cancer month, but we talking about cancer for the entire month, all different forms. So last week we had my boy Gary in here to discuss prostate cancer, and if you didn't get a chance to watch last week, go back and watch last Sunday. Gary gave a very candid conversation about what he just came through with prostate cancer. I even learned something that I never knew about the prostate. So fellas, I would say that if you've never went and had your prostate checked, make sure that you go and get it checked. You can start at the age of 40. So if you're 40 and over, make sure you go and get that thing checked out. Okay, so, but I got my girl here today.
Say one thing though?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so one of the things that that you said 40, they say start as early as 40. But
Yes.
I tell people that's the age that insurance will pay for it. Okay,
That's correct. That is
if you
correct.
go, I tell people that I want them to go and say, I don't know my family history as well, and I'm assuming, or I have a family history of, because you need to go get checked as early as you got the nerve to. Because if you got the nerve to go get checked at 35 years old, then tell them that you don't know your history and go get checked before. And I know this is a church show and I'm telling you the lie, but I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, this is health, okay?
But you are correct, because Gary started at the age of 36 is when he has started. So yes, that is correct. Go get checked. But 40, she is correct. 40 is when insurance will pay for it. But you can go prior to, if you choose to pay for it out of pocket, and you can get it done. Yes. So, but hey, Toya has already introduced herself, but she's also known, but you also known as the bald-headed truth, right?
Yes. So I didn't want that to be my introduction. I just was trying to get my people over here to know what was going on. We were going to start your show off and you were going to do the thing. So come on, go ahead and give me an introduction. Tell me something about me. Introduce me.
So as some of you have heard, so look, this is crazy. So this is my introduction from my side, okay? So as some of you have already heard, Toya and I met through a mutual friend, and we've been Facebook friends like forever. Matter of fact, I want to say that when she and I became Facebook friends, I think that she had just come through her cancer battle. And she was still, you had still had all of your hair loss when we first became Facebook friends. That's how I got my name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, which came out to the bald-headed truth. Okay, so, but she's here to give her story about breast cancer, and as you guys can already see that she's such a comedian. So this is probably going to be one of the funniest shows about cancer that we gonna have. So Toya, what's up? So you can tell everybody, how did you find out that you had breast cancer, and then just go through your process?
Listen here, I'm gonna tell you, like, this is gonna be my first time. I'm not gonna say my first time, but this is going to be one of the few times that I was able to be completely honest with telling my story, because I've been on like the news channels and different things like that. And the way I found out about my breast cancer was I went to a prophet, and he told me that he felt heat coming off my chest. So with that being said, when you go to when you on the news, they don't want you to tell nothing like that. They want you to tell that I did a self-examination, and and the doctor told me that raise my hand up and do the feeling around, and I felt a lump, and that's what happened. No, that's not what happened. But they don't. When I talk about it on TV, they don't want me to tell it that way. But to be completely honest, the way that I found out that I had breast cancer, I was actually dating a guy, and I was, when you get your heart broke and everything, and you're like, oh Lord. My heart broke. Let me go to church. If I go to church, you want to go to church on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and twice on Sunday, okay? So, also, listen, I have my heart broke, and I was at Bible study on a Tuesday, and mind you, I want you to remember Tuesday. I always tell people when I tell my breast cancer story, remember Tuesday. So I had my heart broke, and I went to Bible study, and I was at Bible study, and my sister kept calling my phone, and I'm like, I'm at Bible study, I'm sending her the voicemail and everything. So finally she just kept on calling my phone, and I'm like, I wonder if something wrong with my family or something, or somebody in the family. So I'm all down on the floor between the pews and everything, like like, girl, you need to come to where we are. Such and such got a prophet coming over their house, and they say he the truth, girl. You need to come over. I'm like, girl, I'm already at church. So I'm like, I hang up on her. She called me back and said, don't your church got Bible study on Tuesday and Wednesday? I said, yeah. She said, well, if they got Bible study on Tuesday and Wednesday, if he ain't the truth, you can go back tomorrow. I'm so I was like, girl, I remember I left from church. I was like, okay, I'm gonna come, because I'm like, I was talking to her on the phone all while I was on my way to where she was. If you got me over here chasing after this false prophet, I know something. I'm like, because I was already at church. I'm at church, and you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, my heart is broken. You got me chasing after false prophets. I'm like, this is crazy. So I went over to where the prophet was, and he was sitting there, and the way he did it was like, we were just sitting there. We were just like, it was like me and maybe like 3 other people, like me, my sister, and it was probably like 3 or 4 other people. We were sitting there. So I'm skeptical already, because I felt like I was at church, and that's where I need to be. And at the point, and the fact that it was a man and I was at church because my heart had been broke, that ain't help at all either. So I'm like, what you got to say? You're just like all the other ones, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there, and he was talking, and he did everybody. Like, he said something about everybody. And then when he got to me, he said, do you have any background in accounting? And I'm like, no. He was like, well, I'm going to let you know right now, you're going to be moving to another state. And I'm like, okay. So, because now I'm listening, because the guy who I was liking was living in Chicago at the time. So I'm like, okay, because now you're talking my language. I'm listening now. So he was like, I was like, so do you think I'm going to be with, this guy? He was like, no, that's not definitely not the person you're going to be with. So I'm like, okay. So he was like, you're going to have 2, you're not going to have any kids, he said, but you're going to meet a guy who's going to have 2 kids, and you guys are going to travel the world. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. Yeah, okay. So everybody else, he was talking to everybody else. He was telling everybody else their story or whatever, and they all crying and everything. I'm looking like, what y'all crying for? My sister, like, yes, Oh my God. Yeah, she all in. She is all in. So I'm looking like whatever. Because that's not what I was looking for. You know what I'm saying? It was totally not what I was looking for. So when we all were getting ready to leave, everybody was, all talking to him and everything. And then he started laughing. And he said, Lord, I can't tell her that. And they was like, tell her what? And he was like, I feel heat coming off your chest. He said, and the Lord is telling me that you need to go and get it checked out. And so I'm like, okay. So anybody know me, know that I go to the doctor. Okay. I go to the doctor. If anything ain't right, I'm going to the doctor. So I had an appointment like 2 weeks later. And so I went and I got my examination, and on the way, my gynecologist had gave me my exam, and on the way out the door, she said to me, I said to her, I said, I know this might sound weird. I said, but I went to a psychic. I was like, I went to a psychic, because white folks don't understand prophets, okay? They don't understand none of that. So I had to say, and I'm sorry, I gotta be politically correct. I'm on your show. I'm on the church show. I'm sorry. But anyway, I was like, I went to a psychic, and he told me to get a breast exam. So she was like, oh, sure, I'll show you how to do it. So, she told me how to feel, and she was like, I feel something. She was like, I feel something here. So I'm like, are you serious? She was like, no, I actually feel something. She was like, I really don't think it's anything. She was like, but I want you to go and get it checked out. She said, so I'm gonna prescribe you a mammogram and an ultrasound. Now, mind you, I was 38 years old at the time. Okay. And it was before insurance was supposed to pay for my mammogram. But because I had a strong family background, like our cancer ran strong in our family. As a matter of fact, like when before my mom passed away, when she got cleared of cancer, we were like, oh, well, she gonna live if she ended up passing from something totally different. But we were only concerned about cancer because cancer was so rampant in our family. So, she had me go for an ultrasound and a mammogram. And that's what I told people at this point. If you go get a mammogram, make sure that they give you an ultrasound as well. Because the mammogram didn't pick up anything at all. So when I went on a Tuesday, I went to go get my mammogram and my ultrasound, they found something. Okay, so they were doing an ultrasound and everything, and the lady was just clicking. And I was like, excuse me, do you see something? And she was like, I'll let the doctor tell you. And I'm telling you, tears was running down my eye. And I'm going to tell you something about these doctors. They are insensitive because I wanted, when I had the tears coming down my eyes, I wanted her to say, hey, girl, it's okay. This ain't nothing. You gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? No, she click. She like, you go talk to the doctor.
And it's funny because you automatically know when they say, you got to talk to the doctor. Oh, Lord. You already know what it is then. Right.
Listen, so I went and they did my ultrasound and everything. Then they scheduled me for a biopsy because the first lump that the doctor sent me for, which was large, it ended up being a cyst. And they could tell because it was watery. They could see through it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the second thing that they saw, which was like, it was right here almost in my cleavage, where they found the second one, and it was only like, because I had really, really small boobs, okay? So when they put it in the clamp thing, for the mammogram, it would have never caught that because it was right here in my cleavage. So when I went to my biopsy, I was like, they had me come to a biopsy the next Tuesday. And I'm like, do my insurance only pay on Tuesdays? I don't understand, because it was everything I was doing was on Tuesday. I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. So anyway, I went and I came back on a Tuesday. Now, let me tell you something. And I'm going to keep this brief because this story can get long, but I'm just going to tell you the important parts because these are the things that I wasn't able to tell you about. Tell the people on the news. When I went and got my biopsy, the lady put it in a big needle in your chest, and then they go in there and then they clamp out a part of the tissue or whatever. Yeah. So they put this needle in my chest, and I'm telling you, this is what I want to tell you. The Lord was moving in that. He was in that place. You understand me? He was in that place because when that lady, the doctor, the lady that was assisting the doctor that was doing the biopsy, the doctors looked at her. She said, "Are you okay?" When they put that needle in my chest, she said, "Are you okay?" And the nurse said, "No." And she fell out on the floor. She passed out while I had this big needle in my. So I don't know about nothing else. I'm about to start preaching. I don't know what nobody else think about me, but I'm trying to tell you right now, I feel like I got purpose on my life. You understand me? Because when I had this done, that lady fell out on the floor. It was miraculous to me. Like, it was like God was moving up in there. Okay. So I'm laying there with this big needle in my chest. And they had to clean out the room. They had to come pick her up and take her out the room. They forgot all about me laying there. And they came, pick her up, take her out the room. Then they had to go find somebody else. They had to call over to the other hospital because I was in like a sector of the hospital, like a professional building. They had to call over there and have somebody else come in order to finish my procedure. All the time while this big needle was in my chest. Okay. So they told me, well, you should hear something in 3 days. Your doctor should be reaching out to you in 3 days. Like 2 days later, the doctor called me. I need to see you in the office. And I'm like, okay, I'm not about to go in there for them to tell me that it's nothing. But I got up that Tuesday morning and my feet wouldn't stop moving. And all the while I was on my way to the doctor, I kept saying, I'm not going. I'm about to go to work. I'm not going. I got in the car. I'm not going. And I'm telling you, it was just like something had took over my steering wheel and took me to that doctor's office. And I had no intention of going, but it was just like all the way out while I was saying it, I was just headed to the doctor's office. So when I went to the doctor's office, it was a room full of people. And I told them, hi, my name is Latoya Broadus. I'm here. I have an 8:00 appointment. They was like, oh, come right on back. All these people in here, y'all about to put me in front of all these people. Oh, no, something ain't right. When they took me straight to the back. Then when I went in there, she put all them brochures in the door and all that type of stuff. Like, I wanted to take all them brochures and throw them on the floor. Like, I don't want none of them. So I got in there and the doctor came in and she got on her little stool and she scooted over to me. I wanted to kick her chair back to the other side. Like, don't come over here. But she was like, hey, hun, she was like, we found a little bit of cancer. And she was like, it's a pea size. And Lord, would she tell me that for? I was crying and snotting and everything, and I didn't hear anything else after that. I told her to call my sister, and I called my sister, got on the phone with her, and I don't know anything else. I just know that she was like, well, when they got ready to let me leave, she said, listen, I'm going to tell you this. She said, your life is about to change. She said, you are now and forever going to be a cancer patient. She was like, this week is about to go really fast for you. You're going to have to see a lot of people. She was like, but we caught it early. My cancer was a stage 0.5 when they caught me, not even stage 1. It was stage 0.5 when they caught it. And so I did, the first thing I said was I was going to get a lumpectomy because I did not want cancer to interrupt my life. I wanted to get a lumpectomy, on Monday and be back to work by Thursday. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That was my thought, because cancer was not going to interrupt my life. So my dad was like, it was my dad. He was like, listen, he was like, you got to get it. He's like, you need to get a mastectomy. He was like, he was like, because as long as you have breasts, you're going to have the problem. He was like, do you want to go through this every 6 months? Because once you have breast cancer, you have to go back for a mammogram like every 6 months. And then every 6 months, you got to be afraid that your cancer has come back, you know? So I ended up getting a double mastectomy with reconstructive surgery. And I had to go through like chemo, radiation, and all that type of stuff. So.
Okay. So how was your chemo process for you?
You know, chemo is not like it used to be. You know, it used to be where chemo would kill the patient if the cancer did. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Chemo, I did not throw up, not one time. Chemo no, I did not. I did, because they give you stuff in your IV now that allows you to, it's like I don't want to say the word because I'm from Detroit. I say stuff wrong. It's nausea. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. That's that. They put that in there so you won't throw up. How about that?
Okay, so did you have the crash the next day where you were super tired, or that you got like or what's considered almost like motion sickness? Is it almost like motion sickness when you get really ill?
Because let me tell you, one of the things that I did was, so I would get cancer on Tuesday, and on Wednesday evening, I would start feeling like I was coming down with the flu. By Wednesday night, I was totally like body aches, cold chills, really weak. You know what I'm saying? And I would be nauseated, but I would I bought those motion sickness bracelets, and that's what helped me. Now during during my treatment, like sometimes I couldn't drink like cold water, but the more you drink water, they said it helps you with it. So sometimes I would have to drink water with ice. Sometimes I have to drink water without ice. Sometimes I would have to drink water with lemon. I changed it up. It even got to the point where I had to drink it with a straw. Sometimes I couldn't drink it. I had to try different things. Just, sometimes with lemon, just so I can make sure that I ingest the water that I have so I could push this stuff through my system. Because that's, that's what they told me. Like, it was really important. The first day that I went to go get get chemo, I went into the cancer treatment center, and everybody in there had no hair, no eyebrows. They were like all in the little beanies, and they were looking a little like sick and everything. And they were like, do you want to sit out here? I'm like, no, I don't want to sit out here. And I'm serious. They put me in a little closet and everything, and I was in there getting my little chemo. And the next time I came, I looked just like them people. My hair was gone. I'm telling you, my hair was gone. My hair felt, but I want to say this though. I did it on my own terms because I cut my hair off myself. Okay. And I just had like a little buzz cut. And when it did fall off, it's like when your hair falls off from chemo, it's like your hair follicles open up and it just releases the hair. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So you could just like take it and like you can dust your hair off like that. It's just as simple as that. Your head is so sore, but but it just falls off like that. So
wow. Okay.
Yep.
So other than losing your hair, because how long was your hair before you cut it?
It was long. It was long. I had like a big afro type hair. Like So, and then I'm from Detroit. We get our hair done. That's the hair capital of the world, honey. Okay. We make sure we go to the hair. I grew up like in an environment. I was a shampoo girl at hair salons. I went and got my hair done every week. Before I got diagnosed with cancer, honey, I was wearing weave to the floor. Okay, like I was making my hair always had to be done. So to me, that was one of the most hurtful things for me. And most women, because I'm gonna tell you, like right now, I try to help people that's going through cancer, and one of the first things that they say when it comes to getting chemo is, I don't want my hair to fall out, or I don't want to look sick.
Gotcha.
And I tell them all the time, that hair will grow back, and you want to look healthy and be sick, because I mean, you got to do. People, they get cancer and they be like, well, I'm just gonna start eating right, and I'm gonna do the homeopathic ways. Now, when you get it, it's too late for that. Then you got to do what you got to do to live. Now, you can do the homeopathic to prevent it from coming back, or whatever. But at this point, you need to go to the doctor and let them folks do what they got to do. That's just
okay. Me. So, other than losing your hair, what was the worst thing that you went through?
I mean, honestly, like, for me to lose my breast was really, really hard, because that is one of the things that women like this, that's what sets us aside. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us a woman, our lady parts, and that is part of our lady parts. And so for me to lose my breast, that was really, really hard. That was really hard for me. And I was it was to make that decision that I was going to have to disfigure. See, the thing about it is, like, I grew up with low self-esteem because I had skin problems growing up. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking, like, when I decided that I was going to have a double mastectomy, it was like, God, are you serious? Like, I felt like you already, like, allowed me to have, well, I'm gonna say this because my terminology was different. I said, you already gave me bad skin. You know what I'm saying? I felt like you already gave me bad skin. Now you're going to give me breast cancer, you know? And so the more I've matured in my journey, and the more I mature in my walk with Christ, I realized that God didn't give me bad skin. He didn't give me breast cancer. He allowed me to have it because he knew that I could handle it, and that I would be a voice to help people that were going to go through it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
awesome. So what year did you find out you was cancer, and then at what time did you become cancer free?
So I got diagnosed with breast cancer on December 9th, 2015. I had my mastectomy on January 28th of 2016. And when I found out, when I first got diagnosed, I was a stage 0.5, like I previously said. But by January 28th, when I had my mastectomy, my cancer had advanced to stage 2 because it spread into my lymph nodes. And that was part of the reason why, because then, you know, once I got diagnosed with cancer, and they were like, listen, we're going to have to, your cancer is estrogen positive, and meaning that estrogen feeds.
Thank you for watching Sunday Conversations. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next week as we continue to bring you relevant content. Remember, God has a purpose and a plan for your life. Live